Okay, so we're going to talk about solving linear equations algebraically. When I say the word solving, I mean I am finding the value of the letter that satisfies the equation. Okay? So solving means the variable. Okay? Isolating the variable, leaving the variable on one side and moving everything away from it. So, if you have a fraction and you want to eliminate the fraction, you're gonna, what's the opposite of, fraction is what? Multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. What's a fraction? Division. What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So when you're eliminating fraction, you have to multiply each side in the equation by the denominator or by the common factor. 1 second. Eliminate fraction by multiplying each side in the equation or each term. Let me just get the exact things that I want you to write. Each term. In the equation by the lowest common multiple. You guys understand the LCM, what stands for? Lowest common multiple. So basically what you want to do is you want to find a common denominator for both sides of the equation, because then you can eliminate the fraction. We'll look at an example. Eliminate any brackets by using the, what did we learn yesterday? Foil, or what do we call it? The rainbow one. Distributive property.
Yes, there you go. Distributive property.
So when you have this, you're going to have to multiply each term by the outside term. Then you're going to rearrange the equation to isolate and solve. Isolate the variable, so the letter, and solve. You're going to use BEDMAS backward. And anytime I'm isolating, so I'm isolating for the letter, I'm going to have to go BEDMAS backward. Okay, so that means I start with the subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, exponent, and then the bracket. Okay, you're going to do opposite operation or to undo an operation. So basically, if you have an addition, you're going to have to do a subtraction. If you have a multiplication, you're going to have to divide. If you have a division, you're going to have to multiply. If you have a subtraction, you're going to have to add. So you're always doing the opposite operation to get rid of or to undo your operation. What you do to one side, you must also do to the other side, because we have an equal sign, right? If you have a balance and you added an apple to one side of the balance, you have to add an apple to the other side of the balance. Otherwise, you lose your balance. Now, yes, there's rules and we have to follow them, but then sometimes what happens, you can't just say, I want to do this first. Okay? You have to know what you have to eliminate first. If you have fraction all the way, you're going to have to eliminate the fraction first. Okay? If you have brackets, you want to get rid of the brackets, then you isolate. Let's look at the first example. So I have 12 divided by m equals to 3. What would you want to do for something like this? You can't multiply the 12 by the m because there is a division here. But your m is in the denominator. Can you leave it by itself? What's the first thing I want to get rid of? No. The m, because it's in the denominator. You want to get rid of your fraction first. Okay? So you multiply both sides by m. Okay? You see what happens? So if I do here, if I multiply both sides by m, right? The m and the m will cancel here, and I'll be left with 12 equals 3m. Now, because m is in the numerator, I want to get rid of that 3 because I don't want 3 with the m. I want m by itself. Okay? 3 times m, so what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So I can bring this over and make it into division. So that's 12 divided by 3 equals to m, which is, can I write it as m equals to 4? It's the same thing. Okay, so this is a case wherever your denominator is your unknown. Okay, you're going to have to get rid of that denominator first by doing multiplication, and then you're going to have to isolate. So I have 2d plus 1 divided by 7 equals to 3. How would you isolate for that d? What's the first thing you want to get rid of? The fraction. How do I get rid of that fraction? Multiply by 7. Okay? So if I multiply by 7, the 7 and the 7, they cancel. Okay, so I'll have 2d plus 1 equals to 21. Are you guys okay with this? Yeah? Okay, how about if I do it this way? What kind of operation do I have here? Division. Okay, I have division. If you bring the division to the other side, what does it become? So that's going to be 3 times 7, right? So that's the same thing as writing this. So 2d plus 1 equals to 3 times 7, right? Because I brought this 7 over. So there's 2 different ways that you can think about it. This is one of the ways, and the other one, what I just did earlier. Okay? Is that better? Still? Remember, you're doing opposite operation. Okay? So you're asking yourself, I want to get rid of that division by 7. So opposite of division is multiplication. So when I bring it to the other side, it's going to become a multiplication. So that's 2d plus 1 equals 21. Okay? What's the next thing that I want to get rid of? I want to isolate for d. So what's the next thing I want to get rid of? Okay. Remember how we have to do BEDMAS backward? All right. So eyes on me, please, and don't write anything. I will give you time to write this. If I give you a value for d here and I tell you d is 4. If I tell you d is 4, how would you find that value? What would you do? So you multiply first. Okay. Then, so you multiply 2 times the 4. That's the first thing you do. Then you add the 1. Yes? And then divide by 7. Do we all agree on this? Yes. So if I tell you that D is 4, okay, so I tell you that D is 4, first thing you do is you do 2 times 4, which gives you 8, then you add 1, then you divide by 7. Yes? Yes. Okay. When we're isolating, you're going to have to isolate backward. So you see how the last thing you do is you divide by 7? Then when you're isolating, the first thing you're going to isolate is that 7. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to isolate is the 7. Then what would be the second thing that I want to get rid of? No, because you're moving backward. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, you're going to go 3, 2, 1. So what's the second thing that you're going to get rid of? The 1. Then what would be the third thing that you want to get rid of? Okay? So when you're getting rid of, you're going to get rid of backward. It's like you're retracting your steps. Okay? So opposite of division is multiplication. So that's what I did first. I did the multiplication first. Make sense? Yep. Okay. Then what's the second thing you want to get rid of? The 1. So I want to move that 1 over to the other side. When I move it to the other side, what does it become? No, it's not multiplication. What is it? Negative, because the opposite of addition. Okay? Then, what do you want to get rid of next? The 2. What's happening between the 2 and the D? Multiplication. When you bring it over, what does it become? So that would be D equals 20 over 2, which is 10. So you're going to have to think about the steps that you're going to take to solve if you know the value, so the bed mass, and then you're going to move backward. If it takes you that you have to actually write that 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, moving backward, do it.